Welcome to Margin Business Digital Entrepreneur Podcast. In today's episode, we got Danny Carlson. Danny is the CEO of KENJI ROI, an Amazon ads and sales growth agency, and they're helping brands to expand sales on Amazon with ads management and listing optimization. Welcome to Margin Business Digital Entrepreneur Podcast. Today we got Danny. Danny, where are you located today? And tell us a little bit about yourself. Where did you grow up? And your life story, I mean, up to today. I know there's a lot going on. If we have a globe, then we cruise around the world, but let's hear it from yourself.
Yeah, pleasure to be on here. So currently I've been in Bali, Indonesia for the past 2.5 years or so. I just moved here from Canada just to escape the Canadian winters, which in the city that I'm from in Vancouver, it just pretty much rains all the time during the winter season. So I always just wanted to get out to Southeast Asia for the winter time. But the caveat being, I just stayed out here for the winter and then decided just to stay out here indefinitely. So I just have never been back for the past 2.5 years and am basing myself permanently in Bali now.
Okay. That sounds good. Bali is a, wonderful location. So you grew up in Vancouver, actually. So you're not from Bali or anything. So you grew up in Vancouver, normal Canadian childhood, growing up there. Obviously, a lot of snow or only rain that you're mentioning, because I know, you have in Canada, you have the winter season is pretty rough. It's not even compared to Northern Germany or something, it's like real winter. So we knew it out of the movies with snow. And is Vancouver the same? Hi, sorry to interrupt your video. I just wanted to let you know that I really appreciate you having you on this channel, watching this video right now. And I wanted to let you know quickly what Margin Business can do for Amazon sellers. We're specialized for the European market, and we help Amazon sellers to increase their sales with Amazon listing optimization and translations. Thank you. Enjoy your video. Sorry, one more thing. If you enjoy our channel, please hit the subscribe button and give us a thumbs up. Thank you and enjoy.
Yeah, well, Vancouver is a really good mix. There's snow in the mountains close by, so you can drive maybe 20-30 minutes outside of Vancouver and be up into the snow. But it rarely snows actually in the city. So that's a good thing and a bad thing, because it just is rain in the city in the wintertime. But I actually grew up in a small city outside of Vancouver, maybe 4 hours drive away, which is right in the middle of some of the best ski resorts in the world. So I was pretty lucky to be skiing pretty regularly at the mountains that they were making ski and snowboard films, like The Art of Flight, and all the famous professional skiers and snowboarders would be riding the same mountains that I would just get to go drive to on the weekends. So that's one thing I do miss about being back in Canada is skiing. I haven't done any skiing, obviously, since I've been in Bali.
I can imagine. Yeah. Maybe in Dubai there's some skiing. I don't think anywhere else in near around there's any skiing resorts or anything what is near of skiing. So you snowboarding your hobby, right?
I've been snowboarding too, but I've always been a skier, which surprises a lot of people because I was a professional downhill skateboarder for a while. So people assume that I'm all about the boards, but I was actually always preferring skiing. I just grew up from a little kid being a skier and just have more skills there. So I guess it's more fun once you become better.
Okay, you mentioned downhaul, downward skateboarder. That means these crazy guys who go like down the hill with 80 and then slide their ways through the curves, going down and trying not to hit anything what comes in their way. Correct? This is I mean, I've seen some crazy videos lately, and even if you have full protection, it don't look really safe even with full protection on, so
I mean, it can be very dangerous. It's all within your own hands, right? Like certain roads, you shouldn't really ride unless you have some, pretty good skills. A lot of people don't know that you can actually slow down pretty quickly on a longboard. So I was a professional for a couple of years. I think I rode in total for 10 or 12 years. and you actually have quite a bit more control than you would think. So as you're coming into a corner, you can slow down very quickly by sliding the board sideways. You take some weight off the board by putting your hand on the ground with a little puck, and then you slide the board sideways, which is really fun for starters, but two, allows you to have a whole lot more control than you would think. But the caveat is pretty hard learning curve. You can't just go take your board and go to a really steep hill and then start sliding down the hill. It takes quite a long time to gain enough control to do that. So it's a really fun sport, but also, you know, is a big downside of getting injured quite often.
I'm sure about that. So you have some videos up where you can where you actually film your own stunts going downwards.
Yeah, lots of videos. If you guys search for Danny Carlson longboarding on YouTube, there's some good ones. I actually even have a couple of viral videos. If you search for longboarder cuts off cops, there's a video.
Whoa! That's the video he was talking about. That's definitely good. Hobbies okay there?
There's a video of my helmet cam in Vancouver where we're going down a run, maybe 70 kilometers an hour, and then an unmarked police car swerves in front of us and you know, causes us to go flying off the road, and the guy in front almost hits the hood of the car. It's pretty crazy. And that has something like, I think it's 800,000 views or something like that now, and all the news media outlets were phoning me, and it was kind of a gong show.
Oh, that's so good. You know, I mean, it's risky, but you know, if we take this in everyday life and as well in what we all do, everything is risky, you know. So entrepreneurship is risky. So I guess from what you have been doing there, the risk taking, obviously it's a lot of risk taking. It's you have been looking at some point at as well monetizing all of this by maybe I'm not sure if this is true, but did you ever sell these longboards? Did you ever sell these wheels on the longboard and made a business out of it because of your passion? Because obviously, like, you know, like everything which has a passion, you can as well turn into a shop, and you never thought about that?
Yeah, so that was actually my first business. It was a media production company for downhill skateboarding. So as I was traveling, I would often be you know, going to places around Europe or United States or Asia for these races. I would also be filming videos. So most of my friends at that point were sponsored longboarders. So I would just film them at you know, in some remote location, and then sell those videos back to their sponsors, basically. And that just helped me get the foundation of business, just learning how to operate a small business. And by small business, I mean, like, you know, I made like $20,000 revenue in an entire year. It was a small business, but it helped me get my feet wet. But unfortunately for me, everything I've been involved in, longboarding especially, is very hard to monetize, right? So like what I mean by that is it's one of those industries where everyone who is in the industry is, you know, in there because they love it, because it's not a very profitable industry. Like longboarding is such a small niche that even the biggest companies are not that big. You know, like an 8-figure company, like barely scraping 8 figures, is going to be one of the biggest companies around. And so now you're competing against a bunch of companies that are owned and operated by people who are, you know, they would be doing it even if it was just break even or like barely making money. So, you know, like, how do you compete with someone like that to actually grow a company? You can't, right? You got to get into it only because you just love doing it and that's what you want to do. And you're okay with just making a little bit of money.
Yeah, I understand. But, you know, at the same time, it's an industry which obviously is growing right now. It will grow even more. But like you said, I'm not sure with the monetizing part will be, it's a passion thing. And that's why I thought, you know, normally you, out of the passion, you could have sold, I don't know, the wheels, the board, or, you know, stuff like that. So after you, I mean, you finished longboarding, or you just put it on hold a little bit when you pursued other paths?
Yeah, that's an interesting story too. So I kind of had a moment that just really shifted my life direction. That's actually how I got into Amazon and online business, is from a near-death experience that I had when I was longboard racing in the Philippines. I was competing in this race on this remote island in the Philippines called Sikihor Island, and they did not do the best job of closing the road because it's the Philippines, and there was a motorcycle coming up the road as we're racing down. So there's 4 longboarders taking up the whole road, coming straight at this motorcycle, and he swerves off the road to try to get out of the way, but he had to swerve right in front of me. I'm going about 70 kilometers an hour. He's coming up like 50 kilometers an hour as he swerves into a dirt parking lot. And I had to dive off my board and just missed a head-on collision by about 2 inches. Again, that's another viral video that's out there. I actually got video of that one.
Oh, okay.
One.
But, I'm gonna check this out.
Yeah, maybe I'll send it to you after. It's a good laugh. But that was a big moment of just looking at my life direction, being like, whoa, like I almost died on this island that doesn't even have an actual hospital. And just forced me to reconsider my life direction. Like at that time, I was a professional longboarder. I was just basically, living off of a tiny amount of money, just traveling around the world. And that was great. But I knew that was kind of coming to an end for me. Like I didn't want to be doing that when I was 35 years old. Not the people I wanted to surround myself with. And it was also just, risking my life on a daily basis. It kind of killed the fun out of it. And coming back to your point about monetizing your passion, for me, that's what I was doing. I had monetized my passion with racing and was creating these videos, and it was killing my passion. It was ruining the fun by turning it into a business. And now I'm risking my life in situations where it's not even fun anymore. So that was my moment that I just decided, okay, I'm going to start this Amazon thing, and I'm just going to see what happens. Like I just need to do something else than what I'm currently doing.
Okay, so was it Amazon CA, or you went already .com and Europe, or was it? How did you begin? Which Amazon marketplace did you begin?
I went straight to .com. That's I still think for most people that's probably the best way to go. There's lots of exceptions to that. .com was just and especially back then, Canada was a really underdeveloped marketplace. It's getting better now, but started on .com, just immediately dove into it. Just took some courses, and I got a loan from the Canadian government through like this young entrepreneurs program. I just dove into it with everything that I had at that point.
That's amazing. I mean, going directly into .com and the products, do you still sell, or can you talk about the products?
I don't sell anymore, just because the focus has been on the agency. We have 25 employees now, and it's taking all of my time and then some to keep that going. So good problem to have, I suppose. Had to drop that project as well as some other projects. And I'll just be straight up honest with everyone too. Like the e-commerce businesses can be really cash flow hungry. So it's not right for a type of person who just wants to have a more stable business, that they don't have to have all this cash flow and then take out like big lines of credit for inventory and new product launches. It can be a little bit much for some people. So an agency is just a lot more stable, much less risky to be running an agency. And that's just kind of the direction that it's gone.
Yeah, I agree with you. From the Amazon point of view, especially for .com, and suddenly it takes off, and then people found themselves to order more. Maybe they ordered the wrong product, a few thousand too much, sitting on the container. Maybe it got stopped by the customs. It cannot get into the warehouse. I mean, there is so many things you have to consider, and especially right now. I mean, like 10 years ago, it was easier. I don't say it was easy, but right now, it's very hard. And I think if you done and tested it, and it wasn't for you, and you think the agency model is better, it's really good, because my opinion is the same. I think the agency model is definitely something where you can grow a lot. Let's say not easier, because we nothing is easy. You know, selling on Amazon is not easy. Doing your agency is not easy. But as you said, is maybe a little bit more secure. You know, if we can define anything in this direction with entrepreneurship as secure. You know, so yeah, it's. I think it's a great, you know, great things that you have done in your life. And when you look at it, you know, from the risk taking and everything, it prepared you for something bigger, you know, you know, I know for myself, because I just taken the decision to fly over, for example, to Bali and just say, yeah, a country you don't know, you just visit and you go there and live there. You know, it's takes a lot of courage as well. And because you don't know the country, after 3 months, after 6 months, maybe you begin to know the country, you know, then it's a little bit different. But, you know, when you just go somewhere and you don't know where you go, it's definitely something risk taking, you know. So for your agency, for example, you said you have now 25 employees. How did it all begin? I mean, did you find anything in Amazon when you were selling yourself that you were upset with, that you couldn't handle, or why did you start the agency, and how did it start?
It really just started out as me and one virtual assistant. I actually did it while I was still selling on Amazon. I had a pretty good network of friends who were Amazon sellers that I've met at, you know, trips to China or events and things like that. And I was pretty good at copywriting. So actually writing the listings, because I was also studying sales copywriting as a skill. I found it just really interesting. And so I started doing some of them on like a freelancing basis, just really for friends, people in my network. And then that started to grow a little bit. And then I had some extra help from virtual assistant. And I mean, it just grew organically from there. It just started from copywriting only. And then we also just realized at a certain point that our same customers need product photography as well. And so I just went and hired a product photographer and started offering product photography. It just happened. Really slow organic growth in the beginning. There was no, you know, that's the great thing about agencies. You don't have to go get investors or any of those crazy things to get things going. You can just start it from just yourself, and then one virtual assistant, and then, you know, a copywriter, and then a photographer, to slowly build it up.
Yeah, definitely. And then build it to 25 employees is definitely something great, you know. So you're all remotely, right? You're all working remotely.
Kind of, yeah. Most of the team members are remote. We have an office here in Bali with, I think, 6 people here. And then in Vancouver, we also have a studio space there for photography and videography. But other than that, like, you know, our creative director lives in Singapore. We have some people in the United States. So we're kind of spread out all over the place. And when the pandemic hit, it wasn't really, you know, didn't really change that much for our operations. We didn't really have to do any big shuffle. It's kind of just the way we were operating before.
Yeah, that's I mean, that's amazing. That's the amazing thing of an agency, and on top of it, a remote agency, you know. That's the beauty of it. So when you the services that you were offering at that point, you mentioned it was photography, copywriting, listing optimization, and what right now is still the same, right? So you just finalized all of this, and what would be your next steps? I mean, where do you think you're heading within the next five years in terms of services and of growth of the company? Are you ready to continue the company and grow it, or what are your plans?
Yeah, so we're going to continue growing. Right now, our biggest projects that we're working on is really just preparing the company to be like closer to a mid-market size company. So like for us to go from 25 to 50 employees, we're going to need to adopt much more corporate business practices. So just things that your typical mid-market or enterprise level companies would be doing, like having HR practices, having, you know, unified leave calendars and processes, and, you know, performance appraisals, and like what are the stipulations for if someone gets a raise or not, and then how often that happens. Like all of these little policies that when you have a smaller team, you don't really need that. It's overkill to be working on it. It now becomes essential because it's just complete chaos. The more employees that you have, and already at 25, we're starting to feel that chaos. from just so many little things stacking up. And not only that, like a lot of our project management systems, we've had to do this many times over our growth since 2016. We probably fully changed task management systems 4 or 5 times, just because it breaks at a certain point. It like something like
Sure.
Trello, for example, works really well up to a certain point, and then once you triple the amount of information in Trello's useless now. It's just impossible to find anything and keep it in a good structure. So we're having to do that again, and just this time we're looking at it from a perspective of, okay, so this is going to help us at 25 employees, but when we have 50 employees or 100 employees, with the same system is still going to work, because it's geared more towards these large companies. And it's very interesting, because a lot of people might say, well, why don't you just adopt all these things from the beginning? Well, you shouldn't, right? Because these things are very time intensive, and it creates more administrative work than it's worth to do it if you have a smaller team. If you only have 10 employees, no point in doing either of those things that I just mentioned. But it becomes a necessity once you start to grow.
Yes, and it's as well a cost factor, I would believe, because all these softwares cost money. And if you start up the company with 2-3 people, and then having already all these systems in place would definitely take a big chunk of your revenue already. So growing definitely to a bigger size, I think it's as well a very good timing, because I know some people are a bit upset with all these things going on with the aggregators where they buy and sell companies. I understand this as well, because I watched a few messages on social media, and I mean, people are complaining about it because they come and take everything away, or some messages will make no sense, and my point of view is if you start a business, you need to be professional. It's not just a hobby. If it's a hobby, you get wiped out. It's you need to see it right now. Maybe before it was like that, but right now every seller, every Amazon seller, is small, big, mid-size, they all need to step up. They all need to try to make it. Even if they were already good, they need to get better, because right now it's real competition. Everyone is really competing. Even when the Chinese listing coming in now, I've seen Chinese listing which are beginning to really translate, like seriously, not anymore only throw it into their English Google translator. They really begin to translate it into the different languages and really put keywords inside. So everyone is stepping up their game, and even their photography is amazing sometimes. I was sometimes I'm stunned what we got out of India, out of China. Their photo skills, their Photoshop skills, they really put work in it. Before it was not the same, but right now really everyone steps up the game. So I think we are good in a very good direction in company growth, as well in market growth. E-commerce is growing, so and everyone gets more and more professional. And the ones which are complaining right now, they need as well to look into this and step up their games, working with agencies more, or train themselves or their staff in order to reach that level. In general as well. Obviously it's your agency as well, but what does motivate you when you get up in the morning? Not sure when did you go get up, but or what are your morning rituals, but what does motivate you?
Yeah, it's a good question, because that changes all the time. Sometimes I'm just motivated to complete some of the projects in my business that are really interesting. Sometimes it's my girlfriend. I have an amazing girlfriend here, and we do lots of really cool things together. And other times it's financial. Like I want to get a new motorcycle, or I want to get something interesting, right? So it really changes, and fairly often too. Like I'm the type of person who I get bored of things fairly easily. Like the novelty wears off. Like the most recent one I got bored of was acro yoga. I got like super into acro yoga for maybe 3 years, and then it just stopped being fun, right? I just reached a certain skill level, and then once you reach a certain skill level and everything, your progression gets much slower, right? Yeah. You're never going to progress faster than your first little bit doing it, right? So I just move on to something else. And right now that is motorcycles in general. So I love riding motocross. I love riding sport bikes. I have a CBR 1000 and
Wow.
just really diving into that. So I guess lately that's probably been my biggest motivator, is just making sure I have time to get out on the weekends and go ride bikes and, you know, be able to afford the maintenance and the special parts that I need and all those kind of things. And we have a new MotoGP track coming up in Lombok on the next island next to Bali
Oh,
here,
really?
which
Okay.
is scheduled for the first race next year. So one of the best racetracks in the world is going to be built really close by.
That's so amazing. I mean, where are you? Actually, are you in Bali? I mean, the main island in Bali, or are you somewhere outside of the island?
Yeah, I'm actually in Bali.
Okay.
Lombok is really close. Like it's a less than an hour flight over there, really quick, or you can take a boat over there in like an hour and a half or something like that. So for a weekend trip, Lombok is a great place, and a couple other islands are easily that close as well.
So they take cars and motorbike, no problem. Yeah.
Yeah, you can get the motorbike on a boat and then
Okay.
just take a flight over there, and it's cheap too. Like flights right now, especially, are like $30 return. So it's
Yes.
crazy.
Air Asia, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're crazy cheap.
Yeah, that's it's amazing to live down there. You know, I mean, I've seen it myself. It's a really beautiful island, and yeah, it's I think as well for the motocross, it must be, when there's muddy weather, it must be pretty, muddy.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's when it's wet out here, the type of dirt is just like clay
Yeah.
with no traction. So I don't like going riding in the wet very much. I'm a
Oh,
dry
okay.
weather rider, but luckily
Okay.
Bali is great for dry weather riders because it hardly rains out here outside of like a couple month long rainy season.
That's so amazing. I love it when somebody has really nice hobbies and, try to do something like, very motivating with the time as well. I really enjoy it a lot to be outside and to do things, to not only be at the computer, because you like me as well. We spend a lot of time at the computer, and sometimes to go out, it would be is great, and to do something like that is like jogging. It just clears your mind. So I think it's really good for a little break. Yeah, one last question. When if you have a message now for the world, for everyone, for entrepreneurs, for yeah, in general, I mean, for some people it's really hard times who want to start a business. For others, they already have a business, they might struggle as well. So in general, what would be your message for everyone?
In general,
Yeah.
this is one that's top of mind for me recently. So I've only really been in the online game for what, 5 years or something like that, but I've come across so many people over these 5 years that they fail at their business for one main reason, and that one main reason is they blame other people or other situations and circumstances for their failure. And that may sound like something simple, but it's universal. It's a universal truth. Like, if you can't look at yourself and say that, hey, I suck at this thing and that's why I had this failure, or I really need to get better at this and that's what caused this failure, then you're screwed, right? You have no chance. Because I've seen so many people that they have a big failure or even just a really big setback in their business, and because they can't look honestly at themselves and what they did wrong and what they actually suck at, and they're blaming something else, it's over for them. They're done, right? It's impossible. And like that's the thing about that, is that like it's literally impossible to improve something that you don't think is your fault. And that is what a lot of people don't understand about entrepreneurship, is that you're going to be constantly coming up against things that are forcing you to look at yourself and realize that your skills and your experience are inadequate, right? I'm still doing that all the time, and I've had this agency for 5 years. and it doesn't stop at my level. It's going to keep going, right, at every new level. So that is just the one very important mindset shift that I think every good entrepreneur who really grows a big business is able to adopt.
I think I completely agree, because it's definitely, I've seen this a lot, people get stuck because of exactly that reason, because it's they blame others. And I mean, myself, I have to look always into myself and check, for example, can you really do that? Are you able to do it? Then I do it, But if I see I'm not able to do it and do it half, or I see I need help, I don't wait too long. I get directly help from somebody else who can do it better than me. And then we can close down this problem. But if you keep too long on it and then you get frustrated, you get upset, and that's it. Then everything breaks apart. That's true. Completely true. Yeah. Thank you so much. Talking with me about this today, telling your story. I didn't know your story yet, and I think it's really interesting, and happy to have you here on the show. One last thing, you play chess, yeah?
Yeah, I'm kind of getting back into it just because we moved into a place with this giant chess.
Yeah, I can see it in the bed. Yeah.
But I used to play when I was a kid, and I used to play in chess tournaments and things like that. So it's interesting to kind of come back to the mental circuitry that was laid 20 years ago or whatever it was. And it's still all there, which is very interesting. Yeah,
I love it to relax as well, to just get cut off something and just play a little bit. It's an amazing game, really.
Yeah, great. It's great. But unfortunately now there's supercomputers that can beat all of the greatest chess masters in the world, and we don't stand a chance. The computers, it's a game for computers now.
It's true. But let's keep it between humans. I don't like to play with the computer at all. As you said, there is no chance. There's no, it's not fun anymore. Before there was these old computers, you can easily beat them. Not easily, but you still could beat them. But right now, you're right. It's impossible. Yeah. Thanks for your time, Danny, today. And wish you good time in Bali, and hope we speak soon. Yeah.
Yeah, pleasure chatting. And I'll see you on my podcast later on. We'll get that all set up.
Great. Just one last thing. Where can people contact you, Danny, when they want to, when they have question about your company, your services? Where can they get to you? We're gonna write it here.
Yeah, regarding the services, the best place is our website, KENJIROI.com. That's KENJIROI.com. Or if you want to reach out to me personally about something, probably the best place would be on Facebook. Just search Danny Carlson on Facebook, or Instagram as well. I think it's I am Danny Carlson on both of those platforms.
Okay. It will be displayed here, and everyone who wants to get in contact with you can do that. Thank you again, and speak to you later. Bye-bye.